Julia was in the midst of a monumental cleaning effort at the country house, preparing the place for the arrival of the family on a special date. The old house, with its walls steeped in stories and memories, required meticulous attention. Every corner hid a piece of the past, and among them were drawers and cabinets filled with forgotten objects. It was a true treasure trove of antiques and relics, waiting to be uncovered. As the housekeepers busied themselves with their tasks, one of them, a woman with a keen eye and nimble hands, decided to rummage through an old drawer in the living room cabinet. The drawer was covered in dust and cobwebs, almost as if time itself had decided to make it a sanctuary for secrets. And there, amidst yellowed papers and mouldy objects, she found something different: a letter. The letter was wrapped in a time-worn envelope, with nearly faded writing. It was as if the envelope itself carried a sense of mystery, an invitation to uncover what was hidden inside. The housekeeper, curious and intuitive, immediately knew that this was more than just a simple piece of paper. As she handed the letter to Julia, the housekeeper could barely hide the glimmer of curiosity in her eyes. Julia, with a slight tremor in her hands, took the envelope and noticed the unusual weight it carried. The moment seemed to stand still, and the anticipation was palpable. The outside world seemed to fade away, replaced by an almost sacred silence as Julia tore open the envelope. When Julia began to read, her face transformed as if each word were a brushstroke on a canvas of revelations and secrets. The letters seemed to dance on the page, and Julia's eyes widened as the sentences unfolded. What was written there wasn't just a message, but a ticking time bomb ready to explode, altering the course of events in ways no one could have predicted. The discovery of the letter wasn't merely a chance occurrence. It was the prelude to a monumental change. The simple act of cleaning out a drawer had triggered a chain of events that promised to unearth buried truths and bring the past face to face with the present in an unexpected way. The impact of the discovery was about to transform the tranquility of the country house into a stage of revelations and confrontations. Julia continued reading the letter, and as its words unfolded, the impact was like a shock wave, shaking the foundations of the family's history. The letter began with elegant handwriting, but the content was anything but formal. It was an intimate confession, a revelation that was never meant to be found, especially not after so many years. The text revealed a secret buried deep in the past, a secret that involved Julia and her family in ways no one could have imagined. The letter was written by a family member, someone Julia had never heard of. This person, who seemed to be a key figure in the story, revealed that they had committed an act that irrevocably altered the course of the lives involved. The content of the letter unearthed a tale of betrayal and forbidden love. The writer confessed to being the lover of someone Julia had thought was just an old acquaintance. The affair with Julia's family wasn't just a case of clandestine romance. It was something much deeper and more disturbing. The lover was, in fact, Julia's biological father, a man who had mysteriously disappeared decades ago. As Julia read about the forbidden romance and the lies woven around it, her heart raced, and her mind raced to piece together the family puzzle. The mystery deepened with the revelation that Julia's biological father wasn't the only secret. There was also a secret child, a twin sister who had been put up for adoption to hide the betrayal. Each line of the letter seemed to unearth old issues that the family had tried to forget. Revelations about difficult choices, serial lies, and the devastating impact of long-held secrets emerged, exposing a complex web of relationships and deceit. The letter was filled with details that challenged everything Julia believed to be true about her own identity and her family's past. As Julia continued reading, shock and disbelief gave way to a mix of anger and sadness. The truth was raw and exposed, and the implications were vast. The secrets revealed by the letter not only destabilized the past, but also cast a shadow over the present, challenging Julia to confront what had been hidden and reassess everything she knew about her family. With each discovery, Julia felt as if she were peeling an onion of secrets, each layer revealing more complexity and pain. What once seemed like a simple lost letter now transformed into a map to a tumultuous past and a present filled with unresolved issues. When the letter was read aloud, the impact of the revelations reverberated like thunder in a silent storm. Each family member's reaction was a spectacle of raw and intense emotions, as if the letter had opened a vault of long-buried secrets. First, there was Julia's mother, Helena, whose expression turned into a mask of shock and disbelief. She had always been the cornerstone of the family, but the letter's words hit her like an unforeseen wave, breaking down her emotional defenses. The perfect image of a happy family she had cultivated over the years crumbled before her eyes. Helena found herself grappling with a whirlwind of guilt and regret, trying to understand how so many truths could have been hidden right under her nose. On the other hand, Julia's father, Carlos, reacted with an almost pathetic denial. His initial reaction was to discredit the letter's content, arguing that it was merely an invention or a piece of distant history that didn't deserve attention. Carlos clung to his vision of an immaculately preserved past and refused to accept that his own story might be filled with lies. Anger and frustration mingled with denial, and he remained inflexible, insisting on minimizing the significance of the revelations. Meanwhile, the older brother, Marco, displayed a mix of relief and disdain. He had grown up sensing that something was wrong with the family, a vague feeling that there were hidden secrets. Now, seeing the secrets laid bare, Marco felt a strange sense of relief, as if he finally had an explanation for the uncomfortable feelings that had plagued him. However, his attitude also showed a degree of contempt for how the truths were revealed. He seemed to feel that the unnecessary drama had been exposed in a cruel manner. The youngest sister, Clara, had the most emotional and confused reaction. Still young and idealistic, Clara was overwhelmed by a wave of sadness and despair. The revelations about the lost twin sister and the biological father left her completely disoriented. The idea of having a sister she had never known and the realization that her family was full of secrets distressed her deeply. Clara found herself in a sea of doubts and uncertainties, questioning her own identity and the true meaning of the word family. Cousins and other relatives, who had been mere spectators of the upheaval, showed a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Some were fascinated by the details of the family drama and offered an external perspective that sometimes seemed clearer than the internal view of the family itself. Others were skeptical, thinking the letter was an exaggeration or invention, and chose to keep their distance from the controversy. Each reaction was a piece of the now disassembled family puzzle, and the interaction between these diverse responses created an environment charged with tension and confrontation. The secrets exposed by the letter not only destabilized the family structure, but also brought to light deep conflicts and unresolved issues that affected each member in a unique way. To fully grasp the impact of the letter, it's essential to delve into the past and reconstruct the events and decisions that shaped the revealed secrets. What seemed like a simple revelation about Julia's family was, in fact, an echo of a complex and emotionally charged history. In the 1960s, the world was a very different place. Social norms were rapidly changing, and a small provincial town, where life followed traditional and conservative rhythms, was home to a young woman named Isabel. She was a free spirit with big dreams, but also constrained by society's rigid expectations. Isabel became involved in a romance with a man of higher social status, a married man who was also a respected pillar of the local community. This secret affair, while intense, was marked by true and deep love. However, the discovery of this relationship could ruin not only their lives, but also the reputation and stability of the families involved. Isabel was pregnant, and with mounting pressure, she decided that the best thing for the child's future was to keep the pregnancy a secret. She gave birth to a daughter, who was put up for adoption with a heavy heart, believing she was doing what was best for the child in a world that would not easily accept a child born out of wedlock. The situation was carefully orchestrated to avoid scandal. Isabel and her lover decided to separate and go their separate ways. Isabel returned to her family, hiding the pain and secret in her heart. The lover, now freed from his former relationship, returned to his public life, preserving his reputation while carrying the weight of silent guilt. Years passed, and the details of this scandal were buried under a thick layer of lies and omissions. Julia's father, who was actually Isabel's lover, became a central figure in building a new family life, a life that seemed perfect and free of any shadow from the past. Julia's mother, Helena, had no idea about the complex layers of deceit surrounding her marriage. Meanwhile, Isabel, now an elderly woman, lived with the burden of her past choices and the hope that her daughter would have a better life than she could have provided. The secret of the daughter, kept silent for decades, became an invisible weight, a remnant of the past that shaped the present in deep and unexpected ways. The letter found in the country house revealed more than mere facts. It brought to light a deeply rooted family drama. Each detail unearthed by the letter helped explain why certain decisions were made and how the past had shaped the current family dynamics. With these revelations, Julia and her family were not just discovering truths about their ancestors, but also understanding how these truths had shaped their own lives and relationships. The revelation of the past clarified Julia's family's present, but the weight of old secrets left an indelible mark. The choices made in the past now resonated strongly in the present, and understanding the historical context helped illuminate the importance of the revelations and the complexity of family relationships. The revelations brought by the letter not only unearthed the past, but also triggered a series of profound and lasting consequences for Julia's family, affecting both the present and the future. The impact of the revealed truths created an emotional whirlwind that restructured not only the family dynamics, but also each member's perspective on life and relationships. Firstly, the revelation of Julia's true parentage and the existence of a lost twin sister drastically altered her personal identity. Julia was confronted with the need to reconstruct her own story, now based on truths she had been unaware of. The feeling of having lived a lie throughout her life brought about an identity crisis, and Julia began to question everything she thought she knew about herself and her family. The discovery of the twin sister, once a ghost from the past, transformed into a quest for connection and identity. Julia's mother, Helena, faced a whirlwind of emotions. The initial shock gave way to a deep process of self-reflection. She found herself grappling with feelings of betrayal and guilt, questioning whether she could have done something differently or if she should have seen the signs of the past. Helena began to reassess her own choices and their impact on her family. The revelation also led her to reconsider the importance of truth in her own family interactions and how the omission of information can affect future generations. Carlos, Julia's father, was forced to confront a truth he had tried to ignore for years. His initial denial gave way to a painful process of acceptance. He had to face the fact that his life and public image had been built on a foundation of lies. Confronting the past forced Carlos to reflect on the value of honesty and the need to face uncomfortable truths. The family dynamic became a battleground between those seeking truth and those wanting to preserve it. Marco, the older brother, found himself in an ambiguous position. The relief he felt from finally understanding what seemed like an unresolved puzzle gave way to a sense of disconnection. He began to question family relationships and wondered if he truly knew his relatives. The revelations sparked a desire to resolve old conflicts and find a new way to connect with his family, an effort often clashing with the resistance of other family members. Clara, the youngest sister, struggled to cope with the new reality. The idea of having a twin sister she had never known and the weight of the revelations about the biological father led her to a deep reflection on the meaning of family. She sought to balance the desire to better understand her past with the need to accept the present. Clara faced an emotional journey that led her to appreciate the importance of forgiveness and acceptance as tools for healing old wounds and building new relationships. The family, now fragmented and in turmoil, had to learn to cope with the consequences of the revelations. The path to reconciliation and forgiveness was long and filled with challenges. However, the lessons learned from the past highlighted the importance of confronting the truth, even when it is painful, and the value of forgiveness as a means to heal and rebuild relationships. The past and present intertwined in an indelible way, showing that while the truth can be difficult to accept, it is essential for growth and understanding. The discovery of long-buried secrets revealed the complexity of family relationships, and the need for honesty and empathy to face the shadows of the past and build a more authentic and connected future.